Got 6 bad bitches in my bed, it look like Royal Rumble.
What's good, everybody? What's good? It's your boy, and we are back for another one. Y'all know who it is. Cardinal Bud Crawford, or E.S. Red, if that's what you want to call me. Alright, y'all, new topic. Is Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. dead on arrival? Yes, according to Bob Arum. Alright, y'all, so it's getting sadder by the minute. You know, I had put a deadline on this of ending of this month, beginning of next month. I feel like if it's not announced by the end of this month, it's not happening this year. I could be wrong. I'm not in the inner circle of boxing or boxing negotiations, but I do see the pattern in what's going on. And I do understand that most negotiations that carry on for this long fall apart, because there is obviously a major discrepancy in that contract, and it has to be mainly on the Crawford side, you know, other than the Spence side. I doubt that it's the Spence side holding the fight up. Could be wrong. I doubt it's the Spence side holding things up. So what does Bob Arum have to do with this?
Bob Arum said they have to reduce the pay-per-view price or subsidize, well, basically find somebody to put the money up for the fight.
So what does Bob Arum have to do with what's going on? Bob Arum already knows the inside track. He's already tried to negotiate this fight once before. It fell apart for him, I think, once or twice. He's already tried to negotiate a fight between Pacquiao and Crawford. I think it was a mutual agreement to pull that fight apart because Terence Crawford just wasn't ready at the time. And he knows what the dollar amounts that are being offered are. He knows what they were, and he knows what the inflational rate on that dollar amount would be if they made the fight today.
Obviously, you know, he might be right. Obviously, he know more than Al Heyman and Mayweather because he's been doing it longer than them.
He knows what the markup would be on that fight, because now you have a guy who's a 3-time champion who, when he was negotiating with Bob Arum, was only a 2-time champion. So he knows what the markup is for Errol Spence on that fight, and he knows what Terence Crawford was trying to receive in the first place. He knows what Crawford probably wanted the second time they tried to get it done, and he probably knows what Crawford wants now. You know, even though him and Crawford don't work together anymore, he's still an inside man on Team Crawford. You know, he still, I'm pretty sure, knows a lot of people in Team Crawford. And when you burn a bridge or when you leave a company, everybody that you know doesn't burn those bridges. You know, I've stopped being friends with a lot of people in my life, but it doesn't mean my friends of friends are no longer friends with those people I stopped being friends with. You know, and so it doesn't always work to where as soon as you leave a company, everybody on your team stops fooling with that company.
Greed. We went from 50 to 100 to almost $100 now. Errol Spence pay-per-view versus Ugas, it was cheaper tickets than the pay-per-view.
It doesn't work like that. So there may be people on the inside who feed Bob Arum information. They might even be asking Bob Arum for advice. They might also have to share lawyers. You know, I don't know what lawyer Terence Crawford has. He might have a top-ranked lawyer or a lawyer who's affiliated with Top Rank and could be going back and giving information. You know, this is the thing about sports. You know, sports are so inside orientated. Like, you got to be an inside guy to know what's going on. You can't be outside of the sports loop and be expecting to know what's going on within those inner circles. And those inner circles are very small. It might seem like a big sports world, but in every sports, there's an inner circle. And if you're not in that inner circle, you don't have the inner circle information. But we know Bob Arum's obviously in that inner circle, so he's sort of still tied into this fight.
They do need somebody to put the money up, but I don't think PBC want to make that fight. Because out of all the people in the world, in Africa, and the Middle East, and Japan, they don't have no site fees for this fight.
Does Bob Arum have the answer to what's going on? I doubt it. I doubt that he could. I doubt the only thing Bob Arum could offer this situation if he was still Terence Crawford's promoter is he could throw extra money, or he could have extra business partners get involved into the fight. If they weren't gonna allow Bob Arum to, you know, put money onto the fight because they wanted a higher return on money. And I think that was one of the problems with Bob Arum being involved in it in the first place, is that Bob Arum wanted a cut. Not only a cut of the pay-per-view money, not only having ESPN involved on the fight, but I think he wanted some money off the fight as well. Not just the Crawford, a piece of the Crawford cut, which he always gets, but his own personal portion of this super fight money. So if they didn't want him to actually put money in on the fight so he doesn't get a return on investment, they just wanted to use his fighter, and then he gets a portion of whatever they pay him, and no TV rights and none of that stuff. Maybe they would have allowed Bob Arum to get some of his backers, some of the people who invest in his fights, to get involved in the fight, to attempt to make it. If they could have made the purse bigger, or they could have found a better venue. We don't know what the holdup is, but perhaps something Bob Arum could have done behind the scenes to help, because Bob Arum's been doing this for a very long time. There are very few people who deal with boxing who probably never dealt with Bob Arum before. So I think Bob Arum maybe couldn't have fixed exactly what the problem is, because it didn't work for him the first time. Obviously, Crawford didn't listen to him the first time.
Bob Arum right. And I don't think Al Heyman looking to make that fight.
So I doubt he would be able to fix it now, but perhaps he could have got some people involved with deeper pockets who could have fixed it, who PBC maybe wouldn't have mind doing business with instead of Bob Arum. Now, what is the effing problem? What is going on with this fight? Look, I've told y'all from the beginning I didn't see it happening in 2022. I see it happening in 23 for various different reasons. And one of those reasons is the money. Is the money. I just felt like there wasn't going to be enough money involved to make this fight. Now, you got this Triple G Canelo fight coming up. I believe Charlo has a fight coming up. There are other big high-level fights that are coming up. You know, this Triple G Canelo fight, you could consider that a super fight. Now, with all these super fights going on, could you expect people to actually keep paying for these fights at these high price ranges? You know, American pay-per-view goes for nearly $100 now. You know, Maypac reset the standard for American boxing pay-per-view. So now it's not just that you're paying a high dollar amount for these pay-per-views. Now you're paying a overpriced amount for these pay-per-views, in excess of $100 sometimes. So, I mean, with Triple G going on, Triple G Canelo going on, with Charlo, you know, you could consider his fights super fights now. With all these other fights going on, is it a matter of there's just too many big fights at the end of 2022, and there's not enough room to fit all these big fights, and there's not enough money surrounding these fights to justify putting them on all in the same year?
I don't think Al Heyman looking to make that fight. I heard that he's 80-20 taking a leave from Terence Crawford.
Is the timing just wrong? Is the timing off for this fight? Is it a timing issue? Is it too close to the end of the year? Are they going to make this fight too close to the holidays, and that's going to conflict with the dollar amounts that the fight could possibly do? Or is it a fighter issue? Is it Terence Crawford simply purposely pricing himself out because he doesn't want to lose to Errol Spence Jr.? Is he comfortable losing to someone other than than Errol Spence Jr. And this is the problem that we're having, that he just doesn't want to lose to Errol Spence for, I'm pretty sure, around the $10 million to $15 million price range.
And Bob Arum right. You know, they financially can't do it because piracy. And what they saying, niggas gonna steal it before they pay for it.
If they're not gonna jack it up to 25 plus, he's not interested, so he's pricing himself out. It could be a number of different things, and I can't at this point place my finger on just one. I would say it's a bunch of stuff going on, and it's all ruining the sport of boxing. It's all helping to ruin the sport of boxing, because the longer we draw these super fights out, I know it seems like it's adding more fanfare, but the casual fight fans, I think, are leaving more and more and more every time this happens. And they're going straight to MMA. They're going straight to MMA. And, you know, boxing is just losing. It's going to get even worse in the future if something's not done. Hit that like button for me. Share. Subscribe. Tell a friend. Holler at me on all social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. But you're more than likely to get a response on YouTube. So holler at me over there if you want a response. It's your boy, Cardinal Bud Crawford, or E.S. Red. And I'm done rambling for now. We are out of here.
Just pulled up in the yellow red, Bit Ronald McDonald.